So good morning, everyone. My name is Kristina Locke, and as mentioned, I am the Associate Director of Integrated Growth Strategy at Freshly. So what I'll be sharing today, it's a very creative title, the Facebook Lab, Leveraging Social to Inform Cross-Screen Creative, but I've kind of broken it out into two different sections. One, Freshly is a startup, so we're relatively new into the TV game, so I wanted to kind of walk through our approach to TV. But then I really wanted to focus on a recent creative test that we did and really establish kind of what informed our creative brief, our testing approach, and then kind of just any key learnings along the way and insights that I've uncovered that I thought would be insightful to share. So before I get into it, just to kind of set the stage of who Freshly is and what we do, I'm not offended if you've never heard of us. We are a subscription service, and we deliver chef-prepared meals straight to your door, ready in 3 minutes. So we're kind of on this mission that you don't have to compromise when it comes to health, convenience, and tasty food. And the company really started back in 2015 in Arizona. And it primarily serviced the West Coast, and that was for the first few years. Up until last year, we acquired another facility in Maryland, and that allowed us to roll out nationally. So come January, we were able to roll out nationally and really increase our footprint. And as you can imagine, that has taken on a lot of growth in a very short amount of time. So within 2019, we've been really establishing our key marketing team and building the right foundation and the right ways of working both within marketing, but then also cross-functionally, but then also testing. We have been hit over the head that we just need to test everything and prove it out so we can really go big in 2020. So with that, let's see if I can figure this out. Freshly launched TV nationally in December 2018, actually the end of December 2018. And historically, video has been a game changer for us and really for our growth within the last 2 years. So social has been a key part of our media mix. And even now, video is still around 90% of our social media mix today. And so as we rolled out nationally, we saw a really big opportunity to diversify our media mix and leverage TV as a key acquisition channel for us. And there's a couple reasons why we thought that channel was important. The first is that it really provides reach and efficiency, but it really increases that brand recognition. Being a relatively unknown brand, having that medium that is more of an awareness driver can really help with our recognition and build education around what our product is. But it also really then kind of sets the stage and is a more of an upper funnel tactic, which we hadn't unlocked previously. We've been very kind of digitally led and very acquisition led. And it gave us an opportunity, and I love the point of storytelling, but we really saw TV as an opportunity to increase more storytelling within our medium, particularly when it comes to a product that people may not know necessarily what it is. We're kind of creating a category in and of its own and really describing how it works. And so that how it works mentality is what kind of inspired this first TV spot that I just wanted to share with the group to kind of set the stage.
Eating better is easy when everything is done for you. Meet Freshly, chef-cooked meals ready in minutes. Choose from a weekly menu crafted by our chefs and nutritionists, and we'll deliver fresh to your door. So skip the meal prep, cooking, and cleaning, and start eating healthy without the hassle. To order your chef-cooked meals, just go to freshly.com. And for a limited time, get $40 off with promo code TV40.
So fun fact, as I was looking through alt footage of this, I found out that the woman is actually a vegetarian eating chicken. So like the outtakes were not great and not things that we could really use. So lesson learned that we should ask for dietary restrictions moving forward. But with that said, we then started to think through what should our media approach be. And this isn't new to anybody. This is kind of 101, but really around building this test, learn, and scale approach to media. And everything we do at Freshly is measured, and it is designed to reach our CPA goals. And so what we really look to do is make sure that we're measured by cost per customer acquired. And with that, it's very important that we start small, prove it out, prove the impact, and then be able to scale. And so for the first part of the year, we really use that to set the groundwork to uncover the most efficient media and really build that foundation for us so that we can start to get more effective as we go to larger reach channels. And we focused on a mix of low and mid-tier stations to maximize that frequency. But we really focused on smaller cable networks, DRTV clusters, and local cover-ups to really maintain that small spend that we have at this stage. And we optimized by cost per site visit. So we did everything from testing station mix to day parts to day of week allocations to unit length to really uncover what's our core media plan and use that kind of to set guard rules for us to scale moving forward. And what I like to say is that this really allowed us to establish that core plan where we'd have 80% of our spend going towards, but then 20% will always be adding more testing and continuing to see what other efficiencies we can layer on. So with that, the two things that I wanted to do in Q2, one was an offer test. And this is particularly important for like direct-to-consumer brands like me because everything is promo code related, as I'm sure you guys are aware of, but really using those promo codes to drive first-time trial. But from my perspective, I thought, well, TV is more of an awareness driver. Do we necessarily need such a strong promo code? Is this more to generate that interest, and then we can lead them with a promo code kind of further down the funnel? So what I did was tested different offers, 40, 20, and no offer, and actually no offer one. So that is really interesting learning for us moving forward and as we apply it to our promo code strategy. And then the second was dipping our toes a little bit in Hulu. And Hulu, as we all know, it's expanding. That OTT space is expanding. And it provides a really different audience than linear TV. So we wanted to just test the effectiveness of this. And what I liked about Hulu was that we could start really, really small and still prove out the value. And that's kind of what we're currently doing right now. We're seeing initial successes with it, and it's giving us more of a story to essentially get more budget from a TV perspective to scale some of these efficient channels and key acquisition drivers moving forward. And so then in Q3, this is where I had a little bit more fun. We shifted focus to creative. And what I wanted to do was really challenge the effectiveness of our initial TV spot, the one that I just shared with you. And at first I had these big plans to create brand new spots and everything was going to be amazing. And then I found we really have no budget, so what else can we do? So what I decided was that let's leverage previously shot footage and create message-specific TV spots. So here we can really dissect what our key proof points are to understand really what messages resonate and drive action. And the first thing that I did was look at top performing Facebook videos. So like I mentioned, we have a ton of knowledge when it comes to Facebook, and we've been in that world for a really long time. So why not leverage what we know works, what messages, what swim lanes or themes work, and also stay away from what doesn't work, and test that cross-channel. And that's something that we actually do. TV aside, we do that cross email and direct mail and all of those sort of things. We use that kind of as a place to validate in the absence of being a startup. We don't have consumer research yet. We haven't done a ton of testing. So this is a great way so that we're not just starting from scratch and like hoping something sticks, but we have a little bit more information going to the brief. The other thing that I wanted to do was further incorporate some of those direct response best practices. And so a key thing that I'm sure we all do is look externally for inspiration. And I always look externally inside and out of the category to help uncover some insights. And the things that I found that I really wanted to incorporate into the brief were threefold. One was the use of supers and graphics. So I personally believe that supers really help highlight the story and highlight those key points and key takeaways that we want to incorporate. The second is around reviews and ownable claims. This is why we always see the world of testimonials. But these are compelling facts that provide credibility and really build trust. And particularly when it comes to a relatively unknown brand and a direct-to-consumer brand where you can't physically touch the product or try it out, this is a really important component to help encourage people to take that next step. And then the last is the idea of single-minded messages. So a lot of times we find ourselves trying to say everything and be everything to everyone, but really focus on our communication and what is that key takeaway that we're trying to come away with. And so that kind of bubbled up into what was my creative ask. My ask was, leverage previously shot footage to create 4 message-specific TV spots, each one dialing up a specific product benefit. And I'm going to kind of walk through, there's the 4 spots actually, and you'll see throughout how it's evolved from that first video that you saw. It's not reinventing the wheel, it's the same footage, but it's a little bit more elevated in terms of the messages that we want to tell.
Get a complete meal without doing this, or this, or even this.
No dishes?
That's right. When life gets in the way and you need a good meal, get wholesome foods delivered weekly with Freshly. Always fresh, never frozen, and ready to eat in just 3 minutes. Chef-prepared meals you'll crave. See why 1 million people choose dinner with Freshly. Freshly. Home cooking without the cooking. Get $40 off with code TV40 at freshly.com. When you get a box to save time cooking, you shouldn't have to spend time cooking. Let Freshly chefs and nutritionists do the work for you. We start with the best quality seasonal ingredients and turn them into complete, convenient meals. Ready in 3 minutes. Delivered to you fresh, never frozen. Zero prep or cleanup. Guilt-free meals made tasty. Our menu is always changing, so you're sure to find meals you'll love. See why 1 million people choose dinner with Freshly. Freshly, wholesome meals for busy lives. Get $40 off with code TV40 at freshly.com. Life's busy. Get guilt-free comfort food delivered to you and open the door to a box of fresh, nutritious, single-portion meals. Ready in 3 minutes. Real food and nothing artificial, perfectly balanced and thoughtfully prepared. Ideal for dining alone or with company. Convenient, flavorful food. See why 1 million people choose dinner with Freshly. Freshly, meals made for real life. Get $40 off with code TV40 at freshly.com. Freshly delivers complete whole meals, always fresh, never frozen. Options for every diet. Prepped by nutritionists, cooked by chefs. Craveable and perfectly balanced, made with the finest seasonal ingredients. Convenient, good-for-you food, ready in 3 minutes. Comfort classics made nutritious and guilt-free. See why 1 million people choose dinner with Freshly. Freshly, eat better. Get $40 off with code TV40 at freshly.com.
So you can see what I did was start to incorporate some of those supers, like I mentioned, adding that claim of why 1 million people choose Freshly, simplifying the call to action, showing our meal variety, but then getting very straight to what's the key takeaway and what the offer that we're giving. So that was kind of the 4 different iterations that we started with. And then the testing approach is where it got a little bit interesting because there's so many different ways that we can slice and dice how we want to test this. But ultimately, where I netted out was we did a 50-50 creative split on all mid and low tier media. And each creative test ran for 2 weeks. While local cover-ups and satellite media continued to run about Freshly and were excluded from our test analysis. And this was kind of done for 2 reasons. One, when it comes to more like local and satellite cover-ups, it's not as accurate when it comes to response rate. But then also we really wanted to maintain that efficiency when it comes to our CPA, because if we see a high CPA, I'm going to get a call from our exec team and they're going to say, stop the test. So we then did an apples to apples analysis and compared response rate for each creative. And the winner of each test was actually rotated in as the control for the next test. So for instance, if cooking alternative won, that would then be challenged as the control against busy and health conscious, and so on and so forth. So the results at a very high level, originally I thought everything's going to be better, and it wasn't. But what we did find was that overall, this solo eating concept performed the same as our control, and it's currently being retested on linear and rotating into Hulu. But I think, as with everything, you need to take this with a grain of salt and dial down a little bit further and think through what are those other avenues that we can analyze. And so with that, there's kind of, I guess, 5 key learnings that I took away. 1, 2 weeks may not be enough time to accurately test. For me, I think we need time and spend to build up that frequency and efficiency. I wouldn't kill any creative that has slightly lower response rate. So while we may see lower response rate on busy and health conscious, and some people would say, okay, this is dead in the water, what I would say is you typically see lower response rate when you're introducing new creative, particularly at a small budget spend where it hasn't had enough time to ramp up. So with the slightly lower response rate, I think of that as a great opportunity for us to retest as our control reaches wear out. The third is around isolating results. So from a big picture, some things looked like they didn't perform, but the 30s actually had a drastically different results from the 15s. So a 30, busy and health conscious, actually outperformed our control. So again, things to keep in mind. One of the things that I thought was the most interesting was that different creative works for different stations. And some of the creative that didn't perform overall really outperformed on certain stations. So Cooking Alternative crushed it when it came to the Cooking Network. So that's really interesting, and that is something that will apply, where it's not necessarily as black and white as to this one overall and let's go with this, but it's kind of a mix and match situation, and to continue to kind of optimize and think through it from that lens. And then last, as I would say with everything, no test results are perfect, and I would take all of our results with a grain of salt. And I particularly say this internally to our team, that you can't just isolate messaging against the visual. So we were in a situation where we were using visuals that we already had, and maybe those visuals didn't make as much sense with the messages that we were trying to tell. So if we really believe in a key proof point or something that Freshly stands for, let's find another creative way to kind of reframe that story. And what I would do is test those messages, test those visuals, cross different channels that may not be TV, where you can't just, that's high investment and you can't just pull away so quickly, but use some of those kind of cross-screen tests that we can do to really help inform and help validate some of our future creative. So that's kind of just what I had today. Thanks.
Does anyone have any questions for Kristina?
Hi, Ashley from Cicerone. So I have a question about attribution. So I know you had noted that the no offer performed the best in the TV aspect. How did you know that? Because I usually know like coupon codes or if there's a unique landing page, kind of give that attribution. How did you know that the no offer outperformed the offers?
Yes, attribution is always the million-dollar question. What we do is it's kind of a threefold process. One is promo code. So we had unique promo code or no promo code across all of our different spots. The second is we have an after-purchase survey, so we can understand during that time period if you watch TV, we can attribute it to the creative that ran, but then also an uplift analysis of people going to the site. So it's the combination of those three.
Perfect.
Anyone else? Okay. All right. Well,
Cool.
Kristina, thank you.
Thank you.